you're drunk. That's all. All right, let's just lay the gun down.
Amazing.
Rory.
I know this one.
Lay the gun down. Mm-hmm. Lay it down. Lay that gun down. Rory. Oh my God.
The way that Tim Oliphant says, "Oh my God," after pressing the trigger. What did you think was going to happen, buddy?
What an amazing film.
Okay, we'll get into that. I had to throw you a bone, Dan, though, because you haven't recognized.
I love the remake. The remake's just so much fun. Hey, folks, this is Film Trace. This is a podcast where we trace the life of a film from conception to production, all the way to release and reception. We are doing our Rise of A24 season. We are on episode 6, and we are doing 2 films. The A24 movie is It Comes at Night from 2017. And then the inspiration film that I have selected is George Romero's The Crazies from 1973. We have a special guest, Bridget, here, friend of the podcast. Bridget, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you've been up to?
Sure thing. I'm Bridget Brave. I am a lawyer, but that's the boring part of me. I'm also a horror author, and I write TTRPGs.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
What have you? What's something recently that's been put out, like a short story or novel?
Well, right now, The Motel Sick is about to drop from Rochambeau Press, and I have a story in that about a bathroom that unveils your deepest fears.
Oh my God.
Sounds awesome.
Yes, please.
When's that coming out?
I think technically in November.
Okay,
I'm very
cool.
bad at release dates.
Coming out soon.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we're super psyched to have you on the podcast. We've had mutual friends for a while, and then finally it just clicked for me. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, she writes horror, so let's have her on for a horror episode. This is Dan's pick, like he alluded to, boastfully for some reason. We've got to start with the usual question. What's our baggage with It Comes at Night? Did we see it in the theater? Did we watch it multiple times? Was this a fresh watch for the pod? Bridget, you're the guest. If you wouldn't mind going first, did you see this when it originally came out?
I saw it on Shudder when it first came to Shudder.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of horror movies, which is probably not surprising. I have forced my husband to watch a lot of horror movies now, especially when I'm having writer's block. I just watch a ton of them all at once. And this was one of them up. I actually saw one of the Reddit commenters called it Godot Comes at Night, which I thought
It's amazing.
But he never comes, right? Okay.
No, never does.
Never happened.
Neither does it.
So you saw it probably. So when Shudder, what was that? Like maybe like a year after it came out, or like later than that?
They do it really quick.
It was quick. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
So it was
a
pretty
lot of horror movies don't have a super long time in theaters.
Yeah.
Because they tend not to be huge box office draws unless there's a big name behind them. So I think I actually saw this in late 2018.
Gotcha. Okay.
Dan,
Chris,
you saw
what
it in the
about
theater?
you?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. Like I was.
Did you see it in the theater? I don't believe you.
Yeah, and I totally did. We were. This was like the nascent rise of A24, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is the same year
This
as
is
Lady Bird, Moonlight,
the Halcyon heyday.
Yes,
Early days.
exactly. So like, it not only was the hype around the studio really big, but this had like one of the coolest trailers at the time.
Phenomenal
Right?
trailer.
And that's part of its issue is that it perhaps was marketed a little differently than what the final product actually was. But yeah, I was very excited to go see it in the theater. And I don't know if it was opening weekend, but there were a lot of people in there, I remember. And it was I was surprised because it felt like such a small film. Like Joel Edgerton was not a big name at the time.
Yeah.
And yet... yeah, it was. I hadn't seen it since. This was like a, 8 years later rewatch for me. because I didn't really like it when it came out, and I still don't really like it. But we'll get into it.
We'll get into that.
Dan, how many times have you seen this frustrating film?
Not as many as you think.
Okay.
So I saw it. I definitely saw it right when it came out. I was living in Nashville at the time, so I probably saw it like a Sunday morning at an AMC, and there's nobody there. It's like me and like one other person. Absolutely, I was very surprised. It was not at all what the marketing was, and that's a huge, sort of undercurrent to this entire story of this movie. It's mismarketing, it's weird sort of box office performance. And the odd thing about that is you would think that maybe with time that story would go away. It hasn't. Like if you go on Reddit now, people still bring up the marketing campaign for this before they even talk about the actual movie itself. I was like, whatever, I don't care. Like A24 did a switcheroo, fine. I adored the film on release. It was one of my favorite movies, without a doubt, during that time period. And I probably watch it maybe once every, a couple of years. So probably seen like 4 or 5 times, something like that. And I gotta say, like it is what blows my mind about it more than anything is this comes out before COVID.
Right.
And it is one of the most claustrophobic movies I think I've ever seen. And it just, the ending is like one of my favorite endings of a film, especially horror films, because it is just so unrelenting, and it never lets up until the very end, and it is insanely grim, which is why, Chris, I think you don't love it that much. There is no silver lining in this movie.
It's not some
zero.
Yeah, I don't know. I like a lot of depressing shit, and
it's not just depressing though, because depressing implies like
it's depressing and also uninteresting. Is my central claim here?
You're insane.
It's an incurious film.
I love it. Let's break this down because essentially it's your classic post-apocalyptic story or mid-apocalyptic. I don't know. That's very unclear. That's another thing. Is like that's typically a vibe that I like, where I'm like, oh yeah, show less, save. Or show more, say less. Sure.
But they decided to make the fascinating choice of showing less and saying less, so that it's just nothing. Yeah. And that feeling of like not only not having backstory, but also just watching like a really, simplistic, boring 3-piece family. And the introduction of a equally boring, lackluster interloper. It just like I kept waiting for something interesting to happen, and it never did. Which perhaps is part of the point, but it didn't ever hit. It never like engaged me to the point of actually thinking deeply, even post-COVID. Maybe it's a little more interesting to watch it post-COVID, but it feels like such a blank canvas that had a lot of potential, but didn't really ever go anywhere. I'm curious, Bridget, your thoughts on the film.
So I think this is what we refer to as anxiety horror, where actually the anxiety over what's going to happen is worse than anything that actually does happen. Sure. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, their anxiety was very, very real, which is like where all the dread is supposed to come from. But I have to kind of agree with you, Chris. I saw the ads beforehand and I was like, oh, this looks insane. I was ready for it. Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of slow and a little bit plodding for me. Yeah. It's too bad.
It's definitely slow and plodding without a doubt.
but it's not like slow cinema, right? It's like
it's not like Reichardt, right? Is his name? Kelly Reichardt. Yeah.
Right. There's no.
Yeah, it's not.
There's no pondering here. What's your defense, Dan?
I mean, what's my defense? Okay.
We're ready for that question, weren't you?
let's start with who wrote it and directed it. Trey Edward Shults.
Mm-hmm.
He had his breakout in 2015 with Krisha. He got into filmmaking through, I want to say, Terry Malick. Yeah. So he was down in Texas, and he was like, I think, PAing for Terry Malick. So that's why you get a lot of these long, ponderous sort of shots. He definitely is sort of stealing from one of his sort of inspirations, and someone he worked with a little bit. And have you guys seen Krisha?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. It was like a huge hit thing. It was really close to home. It was kind of written, I think, about his family, and his aunt stars in it, I want to say. But it was a big sort of pop off when it came out in 2015, and all the art circles and stuff like that.
It was like a festival hit, right?
Festival hit, yeah. And so, with this one, I think you kind of have to ground it in the fact that I think Chris is 100% right. Trey said it was a small chamber drama that he was writing about grief and paranoia, and specifically about his father dying of alcoholism. And so he's writing that as his father's sort of passing away. And I think, alcoholism and someone dying of that is, all death is complicated, but I think one of those deaths from addiction is even more complicated. And, I think he just poured a lot of his feelings into the script and into the shoot here. And I think what I love about this film so much is that without a doubt you can criticize it for being not much goes on, not much is happening. There's some action, but there's not a ton. If you want to hit the marketing for it, it's basically was marketed as a monster movie. There is no it, obviously.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Hopefully you've seen it. But I think what intrigues me so much about this is it does very much feel almost like a play. And everything that is happening is within the characters, and we sometimes see it and we sometimes don't. But I think every character here is just pouring out with confusing emotions, whether it be paranoia, fear, regret, rage. It's just, you can see it on every single character's face. And I think for me, I love the claustrophobic sort of cacophony of human emotions that this movie has. All, that makes it sound like it's a little bit more chaotic than it is, because it's not actually that chaotic.
Because so much of that emotion is internal, right?
Yeah, well, it's internal, but it's also I don't want to take away from the fact that I do think this is actually really well written, really well paced. I know it's slow, and that's a clear criticism of it, and I think that is a fair criticism of it. But I think the slowness sort of allows that fuse that's lit in the beginning to slowly burn until we have this eruption of violence at the end. That is sort of, triggered by these internal emotions of fear, of contamination, of, fear that someone you love is going to get hurt, and it just sort of explodes. So I think for me, this small claustrophobic sort of play-like atmosphere really plays up the emotions of the characters. The emotions of the characters are the central focus of this, right? It's not the plot, because the plot doesn't really do much. But the emotions are just palpable with every character. I mean, Chris Abbott.
No, okay. Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like he's the weak link.
Absolutely not. No.
I think the two wives are as well. I mean, I think this guy does not know how to write women at all.
You're crazy.
I think Joel.
I think everybody's. I think the kid is actually.
No, yes, Kelvin Harrison Jr. is great. I will give you that. And I think Joel Edgerton's really good.
If there's a weak link, it's him. But
wait, who? Joel Edgerton? Or
no.
Kelvin Harrison?
No, I'm saying the kid actor, the teenager.
Yeah, Kelvin Harrison Jr., right?
Yeah. He to me is the weak link.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's. I think that the characters written. There's also another interesting thing is this guy Schultz put out another movie a couple of years later with Kelvin called Waves. Yeah, which actually is in my
supposed to be very good.
It's more interesting than It Comes at Night, but it's also equally, if not more, problematic because there's so many fingerprints of like this guy writing black characters poorly in both films, and also I think writing female characters poorly. Like it's so like I think especially post COVID, it takes like such a like patriarchal standpoint of pitting these people against each other that feels really both underwritten and undeserving of even having these women characters in the film. But I do think, I don't know, let's go back to Chris Abbott because that's clearly where we disagree the most.
I love him as an actor in general.
Really? What have you seen him in
he lights up every scene that he's in.
Like what, The Wolfman?
That's very unfair. Very unfair.
What have you liked him in?
He was transcendent in Girls.
Girls. Probably Girls.
As the shithead dirtbag.
Yes.
He was so good. I mean, I was transfixed for that episode when he comes back into was it whatever her name's life was. Was he Possessor? Yeah, Possessor.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's right.
Which is, I don't know. Every time I see him on screen, I'm bought in. And I think like here to me, he plays this person who shows up at their compound, breaks in, and is acting kind of, pretty sketch. In a post-apocalyptic world, you break into somebody's house, you're probably expecting to get murdered. And the way that he communicates and tries to, it seems like he's always trying to play both sides or multiple angles. He seems always just vaguely sketch. And I don't know, I feel like that's actually not easy to do because he comes across as sort of being genuine, but then holding back information. It's like lying through omission often. And, he gets caught maybe once or twice, but I think that sort of caginess, which is, I think, a natural response to the environment that he's in and the social setting that he's in, just that is the core breakdown of communication that happens later on. Because his caginess and his sort of ability or reluctance to share all the information that he has and the truth that he has ends up creating suspicion and paranoia, which then drives the entire plot of the story. Right? And by the end, it's that suspicion and paranoia that leads to this outbreak of violence that was totally unneeded. And we have no idea why it actually happened, right? Because there's this suspicion that their child is sick, but it's never confirmed. And I think that it's that sort of mystery and unknown of what's actually going on because people are lying, people are misrepresenting each other or themselves and their stories and their backgrounds, and they're not communicating clearly, kind of ends in this sort of amazing... I mean, it's such an allegory for just politics in general, right? I don't know. I mean, that's what I see. I don't know if you guys see any of that.
I always think of him as like a misprint from the Jeremy Davies Factory.
I love that.
It's like he's doing like an SNL level impression of Jeremy Davies at all times.
Yeah, Shifty McShifty.
Yeah.
Shifty. Oh my god. How about this? I'll throw you guys a softball. The emotion of it, the acting of it, does anything for you guys feel? Does it feel like a sci-fi movie? Does it, sci-fi level quality, or is it just like it just feels too inert for you guys?
I struggle because I like everything you're saying, and I definitely was interested in rewatching it, especially post COVID. So there is that element of allegory, whether it be political or just like survival, like mass trauma kind of vibes. And yeah, I think I saw that more in the rewatch, but I still feel like I don't know if I'd go as far as inert, but it's just like you kind of get what he's going for, like bubbling on the surface, like simmering rage, and then it finally breaks, and it's like you mentioned, a breakdown in communication more so than like anything else. But it's also very much like I don't know, it feels very like deliberately setting up these pieces, these dominoes, to eventually fall down. So that even though the ending is surprising in the sense that it's not what was marketed, and in the sense that it's, an anticlimax, it's also very much like I don't know, water taking the path of least resistance. Like, of course, this is what's going to happen. And so maybe that's the piece of like, there's this a quote from Mick LaSalle, your guy from the San Francisco Chronicle, who reviewed the film when it came out, and he said like it's a portrait of what it might be like after everything collapses, and he's writing this before COVID too, obviously, after systems carefully designed over centuries give way to bad luck or colossal stupidity. In this way, It Comes at Night is pretty convincing. There's just one big problem. It's about as enjoyable for the audience as it is for the people in the movie. On both sides of the screen, misery reigns.
Yeah, but it's a horror movie. Like, I just don't buy. I love that you're using mixed words against me, which is like my kryptonite.
You use Brody's words against me, so it's very good.
Well, it kind of happened for me. It kind of happened at a time when horror all seemed to be doing this. Oh, we've got to subvert expectations. We have to,
right? Yeah.
It can't be scary. It's got to be something else. And we were like, no. Horror people don't want to watch that. Go back to the horror.
Well,
there's a book that came out around this same time, We Need to Do Something, which was turned into a movie. The movie was fine, but it's now an award-winning stage play. And it all takes place in a bathroom.
Right. Yes,
a tiny bathroom. Yeah. And it's like, I felt like that almost did the horror of that claustrophobic situation, because in that, the world has actually ended outside. There are real palpable horrors right on the other side of that door. But this teen girl's family is worse. And she wants out of that bathroom so bad because of that. And so the like constant push-pull of like, yeah, it's awful outside, but dear Lord, I might die if I stay with my family a minute longer was just so real for me,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's that's kind of what I was going to allude to, is like you have horror that is not just like full of doom, but it's also like absurdist. And we'll get into this obviously with Romero and the Crazies.
Yeah.
Right. But like, that's where that's the itch that's definitely not getting scratched with a movie like It Comes at Night. Is there's
it's too dour, you're saying? There's
no sense of humor. And like, with horror, like comedy's on right there on the other side of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I don't know. For some reason, this movie reminds me, and I don't know why this sort of pops into my head. It just feels like it was made like back in the 1970s in terms of like its voice.
Sure, okay.
Like it's so cynical.
Oh my gosh, this makes a lot of sense because you love The Mist.
I do love The Mist.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting.
I absolutely love The Mist. The black and white version's phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, I think to me, I think that's also another like big marker here, or a big sort of maybe diverging sort of place for our opinions, is that what this movie has to say about human nature and human beings and how they act is not a happy thing. And it's not even like I said, there's no silver lining. There's no sort of takeaway that, or lesson really, other than that, when people are put in these situations, they will do horrific things to each other. And that is absolutely echoed in almost all of Romero's work. It's, I think, Romero's thesis, when it comes to all the dead movies, right, specifically. And so I think that's one of my big takeaways here, is that like, and this is going to sound stupid, but it's like, I think from an art perspective and a horror making film perspective, I 100% can see the criticisms of it. It's boring. Not a lot happens. Like, it's you have to be so invested in the characters and the emotions of the characters for this to do anything for you. But on another layer, for me personally, is the viewpoint that he is representing about human nature is not one that, I don't know, it sometimes pops up in horror movies, but it's not something that I see very often. And I think his ability to be really unflinching with that cynicism, to me, is a real, I hate to use the term value add. I feel like I'm in business class again or something. It's a huge value add to the actual movie. I mean, there's something there that, like, I walked out of this thing and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, that was amazing. Finally, somebody makes a movie where this is how things would probably actually play out. There's no heroes. There's no moral to be had. It's just people killing people. 28 days later. People killing people. Right? like there's no
17 seasons of The Walking Dead.
And 17 seasons of The Walking Dead. So I don't know. I mean, that's my, like, the thesis statement of why I like this movie is because it sort of mirrors how I view people. And so, like, I think that's one of the big selling points where I kind of maybe gloss over the filmmaking or narrative lack, right?
I need to know, do you like funny games?
Oh,
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Both versions. They're the same film.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bridget, I don't know. What do you're huge, you're a horror writer, you love horror films. Does any of that resonate with you, that sort of the viewpoint?
It does. And I think that it would have landed more with me if I hadn't seen so much of the same, like, right around the same time.
Sure, yeah.
There was a lot of really bleak horror in 2018, which I honestly think might have had to do with the administration in power at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So, and really, I feel like movies like this, I'm always like, why is everyone trying so hard to live in this? Like, my plan is die in the first wave, man.
Just be at the center of the nuke and just forget about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that there's, like, okay, well, maybe this is a good transition point for the Crazies. I think that and like, oh my gosh, this Romero movie is, this was a first watch for me.
Oh, and, no, I apologize.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, you should say sorry. Where, like, I felt like most of what I was watching for was that that commentary, that is like, feels so overt and so textual, not subtext, that you can't help but just, like, laugh at it. And the fact that that's, and I see that even in, like, Trey Edward Shults mentioned how Lord of the Flies was, like, a huge influence. Yeah. And, like, you go back and you read William Golding's prose, and it's so, like, cynically funny that it feels like he just, like, takes the joy out of that. Whereas Romero is arguably too silly that it becomes, like, I don't know, his signature, schlockiness, not trying to make anything. He made Night of the Living Dead, and he's never going to make a good movie again, right? Like, he doesn't care about keeping it serious, keeping it truly grim, even if, like, the overall message is very grim. What in the hell did he think he was doing here, compared to, like, the Dead series? Yeah. I'm at a loss of why do another of the Dead movies, but with a disease rather than zombies.
Yeah, no, these are all fair questions. I mean, I will say, and we'll talk about baggage, I guess, first. Well, Bridget, had you seen the Crazies before? And,
yes,
like,
and I have seen the original and the remake. And I saw the remake when it came out in theaters. Yeah, and I thought it was fun when I saw it in theaters. Fun. It hits way different in 2025.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Also, can we just say what a waste of Amy Adams? I mean, I was very upset by how quickly she was eliminated in that movie, because the scene with her in front of the Thresher, just, like, it's really hard to induce a whole lot of, like, cringy dread in me, but there are, like, even though I knew what happened because I had seen the movie before, when she steps in front of it again, I'm just like, no, what are you doing? Please don't stand in front of the thresher.
No, so what, with the original, now there's a two-layered question on baggage here. Are you a Romero fan?
I am.
Okay. So you're going to give him a little bit of leeway.
Cynicism. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think like the after viewing this, I don't think I saw the Crazies until maybe like recently, maybe in the last 15, 20 years. It was the first time I saw it, probably maybe in college when I was doing a deep dive on Romero stuff. I will say this, as I've watched it over the last probably decade, a few times, it's messy. It's not all of his movies are kind of messy. I mean, you watch Dawn of the Dead, and I think it's a masterpiece, but it is still messy. The paper mache head, some of the editing doesn't make any sense.
The editing here feels like a middle schooler took a pair of scissors to it.
And Romero himself, Romero does not or does not like this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he kind of viewed it as one of his lesser works, and I don't disagree with him. I think that the movie has a lot of problems, big but, I think that the messaging here, the concept, not necessarily the execution all the time, is really fascinating. Like, I think that like you cannot have Dawn of the Dead without the Crazies happening first. It's the bridge. It's the bridge from Night of the Living Dead to Dawn of the Dead. And I think he's working out a lot of his viewpoints on government and inefficiency. And, and he states very explicitly, and this is later on, probably 30 years after it came out, that like, this is 100% a Vietnam War film.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the first. So it's 1973. The war's still going on. And he's one of the sort of first to really come out in the same way that Wes Craven in 1972 did Last House on the Left, which is also a Vietnam War film. He's really trying to work through his complicated feelings about the draft, the war, what we're doing to the Vietnamese people. Kent State is a huge influence on this movie as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think to me, I acknowledge that it's messy. I acknowledge that it's kind of a lesser or maybe mid-tier Romero work. I'll acknowledge that it doesn't necessarily click as a film all the time. But the content here, and especially the political context of when he's making it and what he is saying, to me makes it worthwhile to like discuss, to investigate, to analyze and all that sort of stuff. I do think there's a lot of meat on the bone here, despite the shitty packaging of it. I don't know if Bridget, what are your thoughts on the film, on the original?
The original?
Yeah.
The original was, I agree with you about it being a bridge to the Dawn of the Dead and to all of the Day of the Dead movies, honestly. I mean, my husband makes fun of me because I talk about themes in horror when we're watching the movie. And whenever we were watching The Crazies, he was like slapping my leg. He's like, "Oh my God, Burge, the people are the monsters. The people are the real monsters." And I'm like, that's good job, dude. But I remember being younger and that concept being kind of foreign to me. I was like, oh no, I get what the theme is here. Also, I should put the caveat out there that when I saw the original Crazies, I was very young. I had very young parents who didn't always know what they were doing, so they would let me watch horror movies. Yeah. And this is when my dad would say, "Why are you like this?" I'm like, "You are exactly why I'm like
you did it to me."
This is definitely you. But the original, it didn't seem as bleak as the remake to me.
Yeah.
Like, the original almost did have that kind of comedic element to it.
Oh, absolutely. Very absurdist.
I did not feel that the remake captured as much of that humor, but I still do like the remake quite a bit.
The remake feels more like a kind of a straightforward horror thriller.
Yeah.
With a very little like minor political satire viewpoints to it, but not much. Whereas like the original is just, it's a buffet of political satire. I mean, it's a polemic. It's a polemic
Yeah.
against the government.
Have you guys seen the original Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a major vibe I got here is like, you know, it's satire here and then it's parody there. And that was actually pretty refreshing, I think. Compare if you were to find a distinction between the Living Dead movies, is like, yes, Dawn of the Dead is definitely way more like effectively political in its allegory, but here it's like I said before, it's so on the surface and obvious that it just sometimes you need a bludgeon instead of you know a scalpel, and it felt very important to make that point unequivocally because of you know how messed up the world was at the time with Vietnam and Nixon. And I think maybe that's perhaps where the remake, in my opinion, falters a bit. I do agree it's a more well-made film and has better actors for sure, but it feels like so much of the part of that glut of horror remakes, right, in the late 2000s, early 2010s, where it almost felt like a factory made, and that's where, and it loses some of that. And it also, like, it came out during the Obama's first term. So it didn't have quite the same allegorical hit that the original did. I don't know. I think I haven't watched the remake back since, I think I probably saw it back like 2013 or so, well after on Netflix or something. But it does, the conversation and watching the original for the first time is definitely making me want to revisit it. I obviously watched the baseball clip a few times because I found it so entertaining when trying to find something for the cold open. Here's a maybe loaded question, or maybe there's not a good answer to it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If we're talking about like political horror, we talk about like It Comes at Night came out during Trump one, and Crazies comes out during Nixon, and the Crazies remake comes out during Obama. Like, is there any kind of like viable link or trend? Like, if we charted this out, would we see like a stronger political connection between horror movies and shitty presidents?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
okay.
Reagan. I mean, the
True,
1980s is just like, I mean, Day of the Dead, obviously, Romero. That's like a Reagan movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I haven't watched under that lens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Bridget, what do you think? I mean, you know, with your sort of background in horror film, what do you think? Like, do you feel like there's a strong link between the political reality and what's on screen?
Oh, absolutely. We see a rise in zombie media at when times are hard. Like in times of famine, there's more zombie movies.
Interesting.
And then vampire movies tend to be during times of plenty because I feel like they're more decadent movies. And, you know, when people are
That's why
feeling good
Sinners
about their
came out
lives.
during Trump too. Yeah.
Yeah, people were like, well, they were trying to figure out, you know, although Sinners is an interesting one.
Yeah, it's not your regular
just
vampire
because
movie.
of the just like the cultural implications of that movie. But Nosferatu felt really misplaced. I was like, is this really the time for this,
Yeah.
this movie? You know?
Baroque, yeah.
Go back
Yeah.
to your cave, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
there's always a link. I mean, I think one of the big things too that I've noticed recently with horror in general is like body horror has become this huge thing from a lot of female directors. And I think, like, you know, what was Immaculate and The Omen, the new Omen, all about like birth and like
Oh,
pregnancy.
it's because we're all finally talking about perimenopause. And so
Yeah,
that is
yes.
seriously, anytime you get a group of female horror authors in a room,
Yeah.
when are we doing the perimenopause anthology, guys? Because this is horrific. And yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's always that link, right? There has to be, you know, and
Well, so then can I ask that question then? That it comes at night.
Yeah.
Perhaps one of the things that didn't hit for me, and this is kind of one of those weird things where, like, you know, movies that it comes out in 2017, so it was made in 2016. So Obama's probably still president, especially when he's writing this. And I don't know, like, is this Shults kind of seeing the writing on the wall, or is this kind of just, I don't know. maybe that's one of the reasons why it didn't hit for me, and for a lot of other people. It seemed like at the time it's maybe grown in stature a little bit because of its prescient foretelling of COVID. But it was generally disliked when it came out. It was definitely mixed at best.
Oh yeah, well, critically it wasn't though. That was the really confusing thing about It Comes at Night. Critically, it was pretty acclaimed across the board. I'll have to look up the exact. Yeah, 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, with a score of like 7.4, 78.
Yeah, that's really good
on
for a horror
Metacritic,
movie.
which is high. I think because horror or movie critics don't view the marketing the same way as we do as like just regular movie goers.
Yeah,
they see it in isolation. They usually see it at like a weekday screening or whatever, and they go with a few other people. Like they're viewing it in isolation, and they loved it. It's just, I think, the way that it was marketed and the way that people thought about it in the trailer and what people thought of A24 and the whole concept of elevated horror was happening. People put a lot on this movie that didn't allow them to really experience it fully. Because if you go in thinking you're going to get some sort of really interesting monster movie about something that comes at night and you sit there and watch this, I mean, they got a cinema score of a D. Which is horrific. Like that's even for horror, that's very, very, very bad. So people that went to go see this opening night, they like surveyed the 7 and like 8 o'clock showing or something, depending on where you're at.
Well, since you
hated it.
Since you said the E word, Dan, and we've got a new guest to the pod, I feel like we need to bring it up.
Elevated horror.
Yeah,
elevated horror.
What's your take, Bridget? And do you think that it's a viable term or not?
I put it in the same category as literary horror. Which
yeah.
Where it's just, sometimes there is something where you're like, this transcends the genre. This is something that's going to bring everyone to this venue. Like, I think Sinners did that in a lot of ways. But most of the time, it's just some pretension. It's like, okay, good. You use some really big words in there and you got a little flowery with your writing. A24 does do quote unquote elevated horror pretty well most of the time. But I keep going back to the Babadook, which was seen as like, they're like, oh, it's this complex examination. But I came out and I felt like there was this movie about the making of Citizen Kane I saw years ago where at the end he's just outside yelling, it's a sled. And I was like, it's grief. It's just grief, And so, because there was a lot of that around that time period. I think Babadook was 2014. So it follows. And it was like, oh no, the secret thing is grief all along. And
we're still doing that.
We really are. The Woman in the Yard. Yeah, that was.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
What's I've already forgotten it. Dan, the movie you really liked this year that I did not.
Bring Her Back.
Bring Her Back.
Okay. I loved Bring Her Back.
Loved it.
Oh my gosh, it's grief, but it's also abuse.
It's on HBO, folks. Go watch it. But yeah, I mean. Elevated horror is such it's one of those terms that, started around 2014, 2015. And then immediately, I think horror fans disliked the term a lot because it sort of seemed like all this other horror. I mean, Candyman was elevated horror. I mean, if you use the actual definition of what that is, right?
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, I think for me, I hated the term, and now I use it often just to denote a very specific period of horror filmmaking. I kind of view it as like a set of horror filmmakers and movies that came out around, between 2014 and 2020.
That had
I don't
budgets.
really use it. I don't really use it past 2020 anymore because it's just like, to me, it just denotes a very specific era.
Well, as soon as it was like said in the Scream reboot, I feel like that actually killed it.
Which is 2022, 2021 or something. Somewhere around there. The opening scene, she makes fun of all the elevated horror movies.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that like, but It Comes at Night is like a paradigm of it because it's like not a lot happens.
Whoa.
It's slow.
So I was looking this up, this slow burn horror. And because it's also interesting, we're talking about this in tandem with the Crazies, which is like arguably frenetic.
It's more like the Crazies is more exploitation horror.
Right. So I just did a generic Google of slow horror.
Yeah.
And like Bridget said, the Babadook comes up, it follows, The Witch, to bring Eggers back into play here.
Yeah.
But I'm like looking for other horror movies like It Comes at Night where there's like no actual like supernatural element. And they're few and far between, right? Like you had, some of these I don't know. The Invitation, which I
I know that one.
Yeah. But like the one that pops out, especially since you mentioned like the 70s vibe, is Don't Look Now. With Sutherland.
Yeah.
And like I feel that was something, and that's also another like the monster is grief, but like the OG monster is grief, where I felt what helped me feel like invested in that story, where I didn't with It Comes at Night, was a couple different factors. One of which was that it did not feel like this claustrophobic setting that felt, and that like that. I mean, this is also, I'm also realizing, trying to do the math, like this is probably around, It Comes at Night came out around the time I stopped watching The Walking Dead. And so I was like, I don't want any more of this. I don't care that, like, there's no actual zombies. It's just like, not like this has been done over and over again. But Don't Look Now has this kind of fresh take on this like open world of like traveling overseas. The character is trying to escape this memory and obviously can't. And it's done in this really cerebral way where you don't know what's real. And another one that comes up in the list that I think is kind of similar is Jacob's Ladder, which interesting is like also a Vietnam movie, where there is no, it makes you think there's a supernatural element, and then it turns out that there's not. But there's also, and then both of those films makes me remember and get mad all over again, because we're recording this episode much later than I originally watched these, because we had some scheduling issues. But oh God, I hate the fucking nightmare scenes in It Comes at Night. The waking up, it's like,
and it was constant. Yeah,
it's so constant, and it felt like a crutch. It felt like this was not subversion. This was just like a cheap scare.
Yeah.
Well, and do you find that your attitude towards it is different now that you're a little older? Because all I could think when rewatching the Crazies was like how trauma and stress impact a pregnancy. And I was like, man, what are they doing to this kid? Oh my God.
Interesting.
I was so stressed out for that the entire time I was watching it.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that was one of the few characters where you're like, I actually don't want her to get her.
Right. And like, the horrible, stressful stuff was always happening to her.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like all these male characters, like, don't worry, I've got you. And then they don't have her.
I also did want to discuss the logic behind a like virus that makes you tie people up before you kill them.
It's a complex. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's funny. Like, I think the impetus of the film was a script written by somebody else. And then I think the producer is like, hey, can you rewrite this and like make the military takeover part the main focus? Because I think it was only like the initial pages of the original script. And so Romero rewrote the whole thing. The logic there is sort of like, but that's also plays out in the remake too. You're like, what is this like rabies, a rabies variant? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why you would create a bioweapon that would make people kind of crazy instead of just kill them. Like, it doesn't really add up. But of course, it's all in service for Romero to have a platform, right? He just wants to talk about how the military is insane and they'll do anything to civilians, including Americans. Which, by the way, if we want to talk about like being, a predictor of what was to come. Yeah, Kent State happened back in 72, but like I can't go an hour without a new video hitting the Chicago subreddit or the Illinois subreddit where I don't see exactly what was happening in the Crazies. Now, they're not mowing people down in the streets of Chicago, but it's really not that far off.
Yeah.
No, and it's terrifying.
We're talking just like kids. I saw a video the other day of, military people, apparently they're ICE or whoever they are, they have masks on. like the white suits and the gas masks. You have no idea who these people are. Like pull a kid out of a car, throw her on the ground, and all this sort of stuff. And you're like, what the? So yeah, I think that's the thing too that like that I love about the Romero and the original Crazies is that like, you know, and I think I said this on the Dawn of the Dead episode we did last season or a couple seasons ago. He was right. Right? Like
Yeah.
ultimately, like this is kind of how these things play out when there's no clear checks and balances with a government or, you know, the bullies win. And when the bullies win, they take over and do horrific things to other people. And we're kind of seeing that play out now with El Trumpo 2.0.
Now, see, people were the monster all along.
I mean, they are, right? Like, that's like, we talk about like all these scary things, though. It's really just like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, it's so funny. Like, you watch like Halloween or you watch like Jason or something, and you're like, oh, that's scary. But then you watch a single true crime thing, you're like, this is 10 times scarier. Like, this is way scarier than any sort of horror movie.
Well, it's always interesting when you start delving into the back. I mean, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was about veganism, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There's that whole sort of sequence in the beginning when we talk about the slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
The remake, did they pull that through in the remake too, Dan?
I don't think
Not
so.
artfully if they tried.
Yeah, I don't think they
No.
did. We just did a
I think
rewatch of that.
yeah, the monster in the remake was low-rise jeans.
Yes.
Yeah.
The true horror.
Just reveals midriff.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm happy that hour-long discussion can result in your husband being right, Bridget. Make sure to
Yes,
tell him.
I will. I'll
We
be
talked
very
about
excited.
it. We talked about it.
Bullseye.
Turns out you're right. People were the monsters. You guys ready for some trivia?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. Bridget, here's how it works. I've got a graphic at the bottom of the doc I sent you of all A24 films that came out around the same time as It Comes at Night, 2016, 2017. And I'm going to read a quote from one of these films' directors talking about their influence that led them to make their film for A24. And you guess which movie I'm talking about.
Oh,
Okay?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Best out of 5 wins. And here is the first clue. I always wanted to make a film about children. I've been inspired by the comic shorts of the 1930s called Our Gang, which we came to know as the Little Rascals. It told the stories of mischievous little kids, but it was set against the backdrop of the Great Depression. These children lived in poverty, but the shorts never focused on that. They focused on the joy of being a child.
Is that the Florida Project?
Boom, you got it.
Nice.
Nice work.
Great movie. We love
yeah,
Sean Baker,
it
don't
is.
we, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, fell off when he made his Best Picture movie, but we'll talk about that in a different episode. Next one. I love Say Anything, even though it's wrapped in a teen romance. It's really also about the adult characters who are arguably just as compelling.
Guess first. What do you think?
Is it American Honey?
Nope. Oh,
That's a
my
good
red
guess.
herring worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Dan,
I'm going to say 20th Century Women.
Ooh, also another red herring, perhaps. No. Back to you, Bridget.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Is it Good Time?
Nope.
What's it, Lady Bird?
There you go, Dan.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Greta seems like she would be into Say Anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Her bread and
Definitely.
butter. Yeah. Cameron Crowe, stay away from her. Number 3. The way human beings experience consciousness. I think my line of thinking in that regard is very similar to Wong Kar-wai. And In the Mood for Love tells its story in a way that is not linear. It's almost circular. And I think the way that we're feeling, we often tie to something that's happening right now, when in reality, it's usually either the past or the future. I took that inspiration into my film.
Oh, is that a ghost story?
Ooh, very good guess. No.
That was going to be my guess. Killing of Sacred Deer.
Nope.
Good Time?
Nope.
Oh.
Man, American Honey?
What?
No. Okay. So think about this, guys. Circular filmmaking. It has a very clear link between past and future.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be Moonlight.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Barry Jenkins, my guy.
Love Barry.
Yeah. Mufasa Hive? No? Okay. Number 4. Okay, Dan's up 2-1. You got this, Bridget. I have faith in you.
Okay.
The thread is the hapless plight of the snake-bit fool, bouncing through life like a pinball, responding shrewdly to the moment but having zero say in the future. It's the present
the
tense.
disaster artist.
Oh, no!
Oh, but that's exactly him.
Yeah,
You know,
it
you're
sounds exactly
You're right.
like him.
It's a different snake-bit fool.
Oh.
It's the present tense alone that makes the hero holy, and it's his utter impotence in the grand scheme of life that makes him human.
Oh, what?
What do you think, Dan?
Good Time?
Yeah, there you go.
What? I don't even know how that
That
fits
was my
Good Time. I
second
just
guess,
guessed it.
Yeah, I was hoping that Bridget would just say "good time" again, and get
By
it by
the
default.
way, what a film.
Oh my god,
God,
that's
is it
fantastic.
good.
heart wrencher.
And clearly it encompasses a lot. So-
Yes. Okay, number 5, house rules. Bridget, is that if you get the last one, you win. And
You win.
That's just the way it
So
is.
we're going to do it.
Okay. The group portrait within Amarcord, within a time portrait, very much influenced the shape of my film. It features a wonderful trading of narrators, sometimes very minor characters, narrate for a brief moment unexpectedly, and this influenced me very much. In general, Fellini's Roman spirit, taking you by the shoulder and pushing you through his story, blending fable and reality, warm, inviting, entertaining, not afraid to be delicious, while at the same time not being easy or saccharine.
Okay, I'm going with the disaster artist for that one.
No.
Because it also kind of felt
Yeah,
like
no,
it.
that makes sense. You're right.
I haven't seen this, but I think it might be American Honey.
Nope.
Is it a ghost story?
Nope.
Switching of narratives. 20th Century Woman?
Yeah, there you go. Have you guys
Have
seen
you
that
seen
movie?
that movie?
I have not seen that
It's
one.
wonderful. It was such
I
a
don't
surprise.
believe you.
I do not like Mike Mills usually, but I think this is probably his best movie.
All right,
And,
I'll eventually see it.
yeah, like the interplay between Annette Bening and Greta Gerwig's characters is like something I've
This
never
is
seen
wait,
before.
so this is just 2016, 2017, A24.
Yeah.
This is like they're
on
unbelievable.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah.
I don't think there's
Constantly.
ever been like an indie studio that's even been close to like they started in what 2013,
Yeah.
and they just started to produce movies right then. Their first
Right.
movie they produced, Moonlight, wins the Oscar for Best Picture. I mean, Midas Touch.
Yep.
Not anymore though. Yikes.
No. Yeah. Neon is. Do you think Neon's beating them out?
Yeah, Neon's.
Yeah.
Neon's
movie.
getting up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're.
Wow.
They had their run. Well, I mean, we'll talk about that in other episodes, but I think it's one of those things where they wanted to get bigger, they got bigger, and I don't know how well it's working.
Yeah. Well, I think that as we get closer to the end of this season, I don't know. It's weird that for this episode we picked a movie that I didn't like, but you love it, and it's clear that like A24, this is their stride, and so it'll be interesting with our last 2 eps to kind of talk about maybe some of the stumbling blocks. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Bridget, thanks so much for being here. Where can people find you online?
I am everywhere at bdbrave. Just BEEDEE Brave. That's what I use on all social media handles, and it's also my website.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Fantastic.
And the name of the book with the scary bathroom?
Is Motel Sick, and
Yeah.
I cannot pronounce my title because it is in Swedish.
Good. Yeah.
That's okay.
More authors should name their shit in languages they can't pronounce.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a lot of fun. Dan, what do we have coming up for these
We
last
got
2 eps?
we got Green Room and Straw Dogs coming up next, and then Enemy and the Tenet. Enemy
we
from
got 3
2014, A24. And then we're gonna close it all out. I think it's my pick. Yeah, it must have been my pick.
Yeah.
With like the original A24 movie Spring Breakers from 2013.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
a
going to
good
close out the whole series then. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Film Trace.